All right, family, this is revelation that I got today at my house. I'm calling this revelation the clogged toilet. Here's what you need to know. There is a bathroom in our house that the toilet has been clogged for months. I tried to plunge the toilet. I actually ordered on Amazon about a month ago these like bomb things to put down the toilet to see if that would take away the clog. And so it didn't take away the clog. I do the whole wire hanger thing and try to go down the joint. And I'm like, I can't find my snake. The snake that's at my house is a drain snake, but I was going to try to use my drain snake to make it happen anyway. So I called Brandon, our director of facilities. He comes over, he plunges it, actually plunges it to the point where what was in the toilet went down the toilet. So that was cool. Water was still going down, like stuff was still going down the toilet, but it was draining real slow and wouldn't flush properly. Today, I got a knock at the door. Brandon came in with a brand new toilet snake that he got from Lowe's. And so we go to work on this toilet. Well, as we're going to work on this toilet, remember, when we plunge in stuff, we really are trying to draw out what's in there, right? We're trying to pull out what has been buried down deep inside. And yet plunging it didn't bring it out. In fact, I'm going to get to this a little bit later, but I need to say it now to make sure I don't forget. What was lodged down in there, plunging it only actually pushed it further. We actually were forcing down the object. What we know now was the object. We were actually flushing, we were pushing that further down and we didn't even know. Likely when I was trying to use hangers and stuff like that, I was pushing it down further and didn't even know. Anyway, so the plunger is trying to pull things out that have been stuffed, buried, pushed down in. And what the snake does is the snake goes into it. So instead of trying to pull it out from where it's been buried, the snake goes into it, and then like an auger, it begins to turn to see if it can hook whatever it is and pull it out of the toilet. And so Brandon was doing it, and he kept going down, and then he'd come back up, and then he'd keep going down. And every time the snake would go down a little bit further and a little bit further and a little bit further. So we knew we were either pushing it or touching it or whatever. We switched. And so I started cranking it down. And so as I crank it down, finally we hear this snap, and it's cranked. Well, then I tried to pull the snake out, and the snake would not come out. In interest of full disclosure and confession, I actually broke it. Then, we was trying to get the snake out, and we both looking at the toilet, and we like, yo, I ain't putting my hands in there. Like, nah, I'm straight. I don't need to put my hands down there in the mess. I don't need to get in the mess. Even though now we've gone in to fix the issue, I don't want to get my hands dirty continuing to try to fix this issue, because now going in has created another problem. So even though this might be the fix that is necessary to have this toilet work properly in its purpose, the purpose for which it was created, I don't want to get my hands dirty, even though the snake is now stuck down in here and it's apparently lashed a hold of whatever the object is. And if we get it out, the toilet will be able to fulfill its purpose, but I don't want to do that because it gets my hands dirty. I look at Brandon and I go, it's my kid, so I got to do it. So I put my hands in the toilet. I know this is graphic, but you just got to listen to me. I put my hands in the toilet. I start yanking. Can't get it out, right? So then Brandon's like, well, I guess I got to get my hands dirty too. And so Brandon kind of puts it back together and he hooks it around and boom, he pulls it out. And out comes this object. Folks, I don't know who shoved this down there. I'm assuming it was my 2-year-old Asher. This was months ago, so he wouldn't even been 2. Like, I don't know how he got that in there. I don't know if he took his hand and rammed that thing down into the toilet, which in and of itself is a problem. I don't know who put that in there, when they put that in there, how they got it done. I don't know none of that. Here are a couple of things that I do know that I keyed in on that I think are really important. Here's number one. Even though there was an object lodged in the pipes, people could still use the bathroom and it was still passed by the object. So the object encountered all of the filthiness and the mess that would come through it. But again, the toilet was still somewhat fulfilling its purpose. But it got to a place where it could no longer fulfill its purpose because there was just too much stuff stuffed down in it. It was too much mess getting caught up because there was something bigger, some object that was bigger. That's the first thing I learned. So some people that we're interacting with, they're there. Some people have something else lodged deep down inside, and there's a whole lot of mess that's coming through it. And we've never really got to the issue. Even when we were plunging it, stuff would come back up. but not the actual issue. And some of the folks you're working with right now in personal relationship, you talking to them and stuff is coming back up, but not the actual issue. In fact, the more and more you plunge, sometimes the further you are pushing down the actual issue and not really getting out of the person what is the actual problem. You're going to need somebody to get in there, somebody who's willing to get their hands dirty, somebody who's willing to get messy. The way that that object stopped up that toilet, I was like, yo, this is crazy. We get it out, and guess what? Toilet flushes immediately, and it works the way that it was supposed to work. And there's some of us right now that have things buried deep down inside of us, and maybe somebody shoved them into that. Maybe you have encountered some recent hurt. And maybe much like that toilet, you are stopped up. Maybe you're clogged up. Maybe you are saying, I can't take any more relationships. Or maybe you're just letting anybody throw their mess your way and you're still receiving it, but there's a deeper, greater issue that you really need to work out. So what it comes down to is the heart of the issue. Again, a lot of us have some things lodged deep down in our heart that the Lord needs to go and grab and pull out. You know what I'm so grateful about? As it really in this whole analogy, I thank God that Jesus was not afraid to get his hands dirty. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15 says, we do not have a high priest that cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but he was tempted in all points like as we are, yet without sin. He is the one, according to Philippians 2, who did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but he made himself of no reputation. He took on himself the form of a servant. He was obedient, even obedient unto death. Jesus was not afraid to get his hands dirty. He came into our mess, just as we should now intercede going into the mess of others in order to get out that thing that is lodged in their heart. This Christmas season, some of us are running from some hard conversations. I praise God that Jesus was willing to get into my mess, that he was willing to get his hands dirty in order to fix what was going on in my heart that was clogging me up from showing love in the way that I was supposed to. Oh, don't get it twisted. Stuff was still going down and still going in. Every once in a while, some stuff was coming back up, and the stuff wasn't so pretty. I praise God that he has now fixed my heart, and he can fix yours too if you let him. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, because sometimes when you do that and you pull it out, people can actually fulfill their God-given purpose. I love you. I hope that you're encouraged. God bless you.